There's a hidden current that runs through all men. It is not visible to the naked eye, yet it is a spark behind every heroic act, every bold invention, every revolution, and every personal transformation. This current is sexual energy, not merely a biological impulse, but a sacred, potent force. When mastered, it becomes a ladder to the highest version of yourself. When wasted, it reduces a man to the dust of mediocrity. This is not about ego. This is about essence. You were not born to be ordinary. You were not fashioned to settle for the middle. In your veins flows the blueprint of greatness. In your seed lies the atomic energy of kings, prophets, visionaries, and warriors. And in your restraint is the key to unlocking it. You belong to the top, not because of entitlement, but because of alignment. This is your truth. You belong to the top. And your sexual energy, when conserved, transmuted, and directed, becomes a royal vehicle to take you there. Sexual energy is more than a desire. It is the raw substance of creation. Every human life begins with it. It is life itself. When you withhold your ejaculation, not from fear or shame, but from understanding, you are not suppressing your power. You are cultivating it. Just as a farmer does not eat his seeds but plants them in fertile ground, so must a wise man channel his energy into purpose, not pleasure. The modern world has forgotten this. It teaches men to release constantly, as if masculinity is just about indulgence and instant gratification. But real masculinity is about power under control, strength with purpose, and energy with intention. When you start to retain, you don't just keep semen, you keep fire, you keep focus, you keep potential. And over time, this seed energy rises up your spine, electrifying your mind, sharpening your awareness, refining your intuition, and magnetizing your presence. You begin to glow. You begin to radiate. You begin to remember who you are. You rise, not because you're pushing others down, but because you finally stop pulling yourself down. The world doesn't want you powerful. It wants you distracted, drained, and docile. That's why porn is free. That's why lust is everywhere. That's why hookup culture is pushed as liberation when it's really enslavement. Every time you spill your seed carelessly, you leak the essence of your future. Your discipline weakens. Your confidence shrinks. Your soul dims. You become addicted to the lowest pleasure instead of striving for the highest fulfillment. This is not a conspiracy theory. It is energetic warfare. When you retain your seed, you go against everything modern society encourages. You become a threat, not a people, but the systems that profit from your weakness. Your energy is currency. Your semen is life gold. The more you retain it, the more rich in spirit you become. Men at the top have one thing in common. They've learned to master themselves. They've stopped negotiating with their lower nature. They've realized that delayed gratification is a portal to legacy. Semen retention is not celibacy. It is alchemy. It is the transformation of base desire into divine power. It is the difference between a man who is used by energy and a man who uses energy. When you transmute your sexual desire, you no longer chase women. Women feel your magnetic field. You no longer seek validation. You radiate self-certainty. You no longer feel restless. You become grounded in purpose. This is the secret of the top 1%. They don't just have money or status. They have vitality, clarity, and command, all of which are birthed from the disciplined harnessing of sexual energy. By refusing to leak your life force for momentary pleasure, you are not losing anything. You are simply saving it for something far greater, your purpose, your mission, your destiny. You stop being a consumer of pleasure and start being a creator of greatness. Signs you are rising. As your energy builds, so do the signs of elevation. These are not theories. They are testimonies from thousands of men on the path of retention and transmutation. Here's what begins to unfold. Sharper mental focus. You start finishing what you start. You stop procrastinating. You enter flow states more often. Increased physical strength. Your workouts become more intense. You recover faster. Your posture improves. Heightened magnetism. People look at you differently. Women sense your glow. Men respect your energy. Deepen voice and presence. You speak less but command more. Your words carry weight. Spiritual awakening. You begin to hear your intuition more clearly. You feel guided. You sense that the universe is with you. These signs are not the destination. They are just mile markers on the path to the top. They remind you that your energy is real, and it is working for you, not against you. Becoming a king in a world of boys. Retention turns men into kings. Not kings who wear crowns, but kings who rule their own domain, their thoughts, their emotions, their bodies, their destiny. In a world where most men are chasing validation through likes, sex, and attention, the man who controls his sexual energy becomes unshakable. He is not ruled by lust. He is not distracted by flattery. He is anchored in truth. A king does not give away his power. He does not apologize for being powerful. He uses his energy to serve, to lead, to create, and to leave a legacy. The top is reserved for such men, not because they are better, but because they are braver, brave enough to walk the hard path, the narrow gate, the road less traveled. You belong to this brotherhood. You were not born to be average. You were born to shine, to lead, to build, to inspire. The lowest use of sexual energy is orgasm. The highest use is enlightenment. This might sound strange, but it is a truth known by ancient sages, monks, yogis, and warriors. When you withhold orgasm, not in fear, but in mastery, you begin to redirect that current. It moves from your root, the base of the spine, to your crown, top of the head. This upward movement is the awakening of your divine self. You start to see with new eyes, hear with new ears, love with new depth. You become radiant, not because of what you wear or say, but because of what you carry within, a deep fire that never burns out. You literally become light, visible, powerful, healing light. Your aura expands. Your energy becomes medicinal. Your presence becomes a mirror, showing others what's possible. Lust is nothing compared to this. You're not giving up pleasure. You're stepping into power. Semen retention is not easy. There will be urges, temptations, relapses. But discipline is a bridge between who you are and who you are becoming. Every time you say no to temptation, you say yes to elevation. Every time you overcome lust, you reclaim territory in your inner kingdom. This is a warrior's path. This is how you climb, not by hoping, not by talking, but by doing the hard thing again and again and again. The top is not crowded because few are willing to suffer, to sacrifice, to be misunderstood. But those who endure become legends. You belong to the top because you are willing to do what others won't. You are willing to lead yourself before you lead others. You are willing to die to your lower nature in order to resurrect your higher self. That is discipline. That is power. That is glory. Retention is not just about self-control. It is about building. You now have energy. You now have fire. What will you do with it? Before we continue, subscribe to the channel and like the video. Use it to start your business, write your book, transform your body, lead your family, heal your community, speak your truth. You belong to the top because you no longer live for escape. You live for expression. You no longer look for external validation. You are your own approval. Your empire does not have to look like anyone else's, but it must be real, true, and fruitful. Semen retention gives you the stamina to finish what you start. It gives you the vision to see what others don't. It gives you the courage to create what the world needs. One of the great secrets of masculine transformation is this. You don't do it alone. Men who rise to the top find other men who are also rising. They build brotherhood. They sharpen each other like iron sharpens iron. They call each other higher. In a world full of weak bonds and fake friendships, men on semen retention create sacred alliances. You need a tribe. You need mirrors. You need accountability. Not because you are weak, but because you are wise. Leadership is not about dominance. It's about service. You lead because you've walked the path. You speak because you've lived the truth. You rise because you lift others with you. Retention makes you this kind of man. A leader, a guide, a light. You are always meant for the top. Look around. Most are asleep. Most are lost in lust. Most are waiting for someone to save them. But not you. You've tasted the truth. You've seen the vision. You've heard the call. And even if you fall, Even if you relapse, even if you forget, you come back stronger because your spirit knows something your flesh sometimes forgets. You belong to the top, not because you are better than others, but because you are becoming better than your old self. Not because you are lucky, but because you are disciplined. Not because you are perfect, but because you are purposed. Walk like it. Think like it. Retain like it. Build like it. Speak like it. And let your life become proof that when a man masters his sexual energy, nothing is impossible. You were born to rise. You were born to reign. You belong to the top. Join the Retain to Thrive Telegram channel at the link below, where we focus on building discipline, overcoming distractions, and achieving goals. Join the supportive community sharing tips, motivation, and accountability. Let's grow together, one step at a time,